The number one thing that got me from doing $1 million a year to becoming a $1 billion brand is the team behind the brand, the team that's better than me. In this video, I'm going to talk about the one thing that I truly believe gets any founder, owner, CEO from $1 million a year business to $100 million a year business to $1 billion a year business or $1 billion valuation business. And it's very simple. But what I will tell you is this is the thing that got me to build $1 billion brand. The founder CEO taking himself out of the day to day of the business and always thinking 10 years in the future. And you may think that that sounds crazy and you may think that that doesn't make much sense. But what I want to explain to you is I want to explain it in a way that makes sense to you. So when you start a business, let's call it 2 employees, maybe just you, you're a startup. The limiting factor of the business is you, but you don't realize it yet because the business isn't big enough to facilitate any demands or needs beyond that. So as you're scaling up to $1 million a year, it may seem easy because there's not a lot of people to manage, there's not a lot of things to do. But as you start building more clients or you start building the business out to be bigger and bigger and bigger, in my case, the way I look at it is I look at it in a way of once I got to the point where I needed to hire a sales team, a marketing team, an operating officer, a finance officer, that's when things start to break because it's not a business that's fully dependent just on yourself, right? So the team is the number one thing that will generate and make you able to be successful and grow your business. And now what I mean by that is if you don't have the right team, there's no world that you're going to be able to do the things you need to do proactively, thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ahead. And that's how you need to think in order to be that next large, big brand. There's 2 approaches to this that I want to be very clear on. Number one is when you're evaluating your team, it's important to look at I consider it the best person on my team, right? And what I do is I give a scorecard to that person and I say, okay, what about this person is fantastic? The less I speak to them usually means that they're very, very proactive. They're very, very good at their jobs. I don't need to manage them. I don't need to micromanage them. But having a team, and we call these entrepreneurs, right? These are the people who operate like an entrepreneur, but they technically don't have, let's say, the desire like we would as a real entrepreneur to go out and do something and chase your dreams, right? So this is super, super important to understand that your C-suite, in my opinion, should be filled with entrepreneurs, people who are very proactive, people who take things to heart, people who take accountability well, people who own it like it's theirs, but necessarily don't love the idea of the risk of becoming a full entrepreneur. That is a recipe for success, right? And then from there, understanding that delivering true goals, KPIs, and everything that's involved in that to get your team to understand the values of what you're trying to do. So there's a lot of times where I'll talk to someone and they'll be like, oh, my team's terrible. I can't get this guy to do anything. He doesn't show up. He's late. He's this, he's that. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. And I say, well, have you given him clear guidance on what you're expecting of him? And have you given him a really good roadmap to get there? And this is where most people fail and blame team. But this is also where leadership is the most important piece, right? So as a leader, as a CEO, as a founder, your team needs to have clear KPIs and a clear understanding of where you're going and what you need them to do. If you're not doing that, it's not that fair to go in and evaluate your team and start telling them that they're not doing their job or they're not an A+ employee because you haven't given them the tools they need to be successful, right? I've said this in a million videos. You guys have probably heard me say it, but the role of a CEO is to give its team everything they need to do to be successful. So, and in essence, it's a very, very selfless job because you're just giving all the things to everybody else while you have that vision of 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years down the road. So the way that I look at this and the way that I think that this is so valuable is, like I said, it's multifaceted, right? The number one thing that took me from becoming a $10 million brand to a $1 billion brand is the team. But it really is the ability for me to get out of the day-to-day and focus on the long-term vision and see all the things coming down the pipeline. And if I was so in the weeds of the business and I was so entrenched in the day-to-day of operating, of managing a P&L, of doing all of these things, I couldn't do that. It would be impossible for me to do all of those things as well as be the visionary that the brand needs to take it to the next level, right? That was one of the biggest things that I got. Like when we were acquired, the CEO of the group that acquired us sat me down and he basically said, look, you are an exceptional CEO, an exceptional founder, but the only thing that I see is you need to get yourself out of the shit. You need to get yourself out of the shit. You need to get into the seat of thinking 5, 6, 7 years down the road. As I progressed from doing $1 million a year in business to hundreds of millions of dollars a year in business, the one true thing that I look back on is when I built the right team, I was able to do so much more. Right? It's very easy to think, oh, I can do that, I can do this. I even have that issue in my team right now on a lower level where people are doing too much, not because they need to, because they just feel as though it's required of them. And the conversations of, look, I'm going to bring someone in to do this with you. It's kind of a tough conversation for some people because they don't like to give things up. But until they give things up, they don't realize how, I don't want to say it, I don't know how to say this in a positive way, but before they give the job up that I'm having them give up to focus on the main thing they're doing, they think it's possible to do both, right? But then when you start making people focus and get laser focused on one task at hand, what you'll eventually see is you'll see people start putting so much more effort into one thing, and then that one thing starts to get better and better and better, right? And then no KPIs are missed, clear deliverables, clear expectations, getting jobs done, hitting budgets, nailing P&L, nailing our F1 reforecasting. And that's what you see when you have the right team. I've been notorious in my whole entire career of entrepreneurship of running a really lean team. And I do believe that there's so much value in having a very lean team when you start, but really understanding that there will be certain times as you grow where you need to figure out, okay, like I'm not good at this and I need to let this go and give this to someone better than me. If you're hiring people and you're not willing to bring people into your team that are better than you at what they do, you will never get anywhere in life. You have to let your ego go. And every time you're hiring a position, a CFO, a COO, a chief marketing officer, if you know more than them, you're not doing a good job hiring. Every single person on my C-suite in their respective seat is better at what they do than I am. I'm just really good at getting people to believe in my vision and jump on the ship. Really, that's what it comes down to. These people are incredible, the best of the best. And in order to get what I want out of this brand, out of this company, I need the best of the best to do it. And that's a very egoless, position to be in, because you quite literally understand that in that room, you may not be the best person in that room, but you know damn well that it is the best team in the world for the business. So putting the ego aside, making every decision on what's best for your individual company, hiring the best team you possibly can, and really delivering expectations to that team where they know exactly what they want, exactly what you need out of them, and exactly when you need it by. So again, guys, if I try to summarize this in general, the number one thing that got me from doing $1 million a year to becoming a $1 billion brand is the team behind the brand, the team that's better than me. And I'll say it, I'm not ashamed to say it. But the reason why is because when you bring in a team that is better than you, that can operate the day-to-day function, it allows you as a founder owner to levitate above the business a little bit and get a bird's eye view of what's going on, but also look into the future 5 to 10 years. And when you feel and when you know that you're in that seat and you're comfortable knowing that you don't need to be in the day-to-day of everything for the brand, that's when you know you're going to have a successful company and a successful business. So again, it's not necessarily just about having a great team. It's about getting you out of the weeds to be the visionary you need to be as a CEO. But that doesn't work unless you have a rock star team. So you've heard me say it, I'll say it, and I'll end on this. Your team is everything. Make sure you're hiring the right team.